I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some loose shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
That's it, the end of the song. Next time you'll sing along. Trust me, there's nothing wrong. I just need to carry on, cause society's a myth put there to make you sit. Listen to what they give. Don't ask questions, shut your lid. Yeah, don't ask questions, shut your lid. I need to run away from this and go get off the grid. Feel like my brain is overloaded, man, I'm losing it. Don't let them tell you what to do, man, they don't know shit. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and let's get the show started. Yeah, I'm on another planet again. I abandoned Earth. Earth is just not a good place right now to stay at. So I'm selling trips to a nearby planet. It's not Mars. It's not in our galaxy. It's another galaxy far, far away. I just don't want to be in the same neighborhood as Earth right now because there's just a lot of stupidity going on in this planet, and we're just a sheeps. We're a bunch of sheeps, and we're all asleep, and we're not doing nothing because nothing's getting done. It's a clown show for sure. Um, the first thing I want to go to is this $200 million ballroom that Trump and some, I guess, donors are going to donate money to build a ballroom at the White House, at the east side of the White House. I say save your money. I would not spend not one penny on a ballroom for the White House. And the fact that this is just nonchalant, yeah, it's okay. We're gonna spend that money. It's all good, right? And it's not gonna come out of the taxpayers' money. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that because the White House belongs to the people, not to these donors, not to special interests, and not even the president. The house does not belong to the president. He stays there, he lives there, but it's not his prime residency. So let's get to the story and then we'll talk about it.
We are proud to announce that the construction of the new White House Ballroom will begin. For 150 years, presidents, administrations, and White House staff have longed for a large event space on the White House complex that can hold substantially more guests than currently allowed. President Trump has expressed his commitment to solving this problem on behalf of future administrations and the American people. The White House is one of the most beautiful and historic buildings in the world. Yet the White House is currently unable to host major functions, honoring world leaders in other countries without having to install a large and unsightly tent
Washington.
approximately 100 yards away from the main building's entrance.
Are you
The
kidding
White
me?
House State Ballroom will be a much needed and exquisite addition of approximately 90,000 total square feet of innately designed and carefully crafted space with a seated capacity of 650 people, which is a significant increase from the 200-person seated capacity in the East Room of the White House. In recent weeks, President Trump has held several meetings with members of the White House staff, the National Park Service, the White House Military Office, and the United States Secret Service to discuss design features and planning. President Trump has chosen McCreary Architects as the lead architect, which is well known for their classical architectural design and based right here in our nation's capital.
This is a waste of money.
The construction team will be headed by Clark Construction, and the engineering team will be led by AECOM. The project will begin in September 2025, and it is expected to be completed long before the end of President Trump's term. President Trump and other donors have generously committed to donating the funds necessary to build this approximately $200 million structure. The United States Secret Service will provide the necessary security enhancements and modifications. The White House Ballroom will be substantially separated from the main building of the White House, but at the same time, its theme and architectural heritage will be almost identical. The site of the new ballroom will be where the small, heavily changed and reconstructed East Wing currently sits. The East Wing was constructed in 1902 and has been renovated and changed many times, with the second story added in 1942. The East Wing is going to be modernized. The necessary construction will take place. And for those who are housed in the East Wing, including the Office of the First Lady, the White House Military Office, the White House Visitors Offices, those offices will be temporarily relocated while the East Wing is being modernized.
Yeah. What's your opinion on this? My opinion, real quick, that's why I'm in another planet, because I don't want to be on Earth anymore. It's just too stupid, too First of all, a ballroom that cost over $200 million. Over 200. What the fuck is that ballroom's gonna of course they're gonna put gold in it, but everything's gonna be gold. Like, no, 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 no. And then they say, oh yeah, Trump is donating, and some donors are donating. Okay, who are the donors? That's the real question. I listen. Something when something smells like shit, it's shit.
Can you
Okay.
clarify what question you're referring to?
Oh, look, Google's answering. I'm not even messing with my phone, and it's starting to answer by itself. They're listening to me. They're listening to me. I think that's a waste of money, waste of space. They have plenty of other buildings that they could out and redo and make it into a ballroom. I got one. How about the FBI bureau of investigations there? How come we don't go to the FBI? I thought they were gonna make that into a museum. Still waiting for the museum to be built there. I thought day one, I thought Patel said he was going to make it into a museum, and we're going to have visitors come in and see all the bullshit that the FBI has been doing. We could have made that into a ballroom. How come we couldn't do that? No, but we got to build one on the White House grounds to build a $200 million ballroom that I'm never going to go see, and I'm never going to go in. Help me make that make sense, because it does not make any sense to build a ballroom for entertaining the rich and the powerful to come in so they could wine and dine and gossip, and that's what that's for. I don't know. I think that's a very bad decision to do, and I don't care if it's coming out of Trump's pocket and donors that we don't even know of, because they're not even specifying who are the donors and how much they're putting out, because they're estimating 200. That's an estimate. The prices are going to go up. It's not going to only be $200 million. It's going to end up probably going over budget. That's how America is. It's overinflated. I'm not happy with that at all. I mean, there's so much other things they could have done if they want to build a ballroom. They could have taken over the FBI, the CIA, like Homeland Security, and all those facilities that are now empty. Like, which is the new one, the Department of Education, right? They're closing down that building. That could have been the new ballroom there. They could have built a ballroom inside the Department of Education. No, they want to build a brand new one, and they want to make it nice and fancy, like fancy bitch stuff and gold and all these trimmings and all this stuff. Like, no, no, no. This is a waste. I did not vote President Trump into office to build a fucking ballroom. Sorry, that's not gonna pass with me. I swear to God, I'll denounce my Republicancy, and I'll go back to being neutral. I'll go back to being independent, because a lot of things that are Trump's making decisions that is not sitting well with me, especially one that's really concerning, the fact that he's pondering on pardoning Diddy. He is pondering and thinking about pardoning Diddy. If he pardons Diddy, I swear to God, that day he does that, I will renounce my Republicancy, and I will not be a Republican anymore. I just won't. That guy is so guilty, and not only that, but the people that are involved in that Diddy stuff is not, none of them are getting accounted for. There's no accountability. There's no trouble. Nobody's not even getting this. They're not even getting that. They're not even getting the little. No, they're not getting that. They're getting away with it, and it's right before our eyes, and no one's not talking about it. No one's doing nothing about it. It's like, I don't know. It's something just that doesn't sit well with me. Let's go to this next story here. It's about the good old marijuana that I smoke every day, and it smells good. And let's check out this next story here, because why not? I'm already pissed off as it is. Let's just keep it going, right? Let's keep Rick pissed, and let's bring it up over here. Here we go.
Doobies in the Diamond State. Delaware will soon be rolling in the green, literally. Starting tomorrow, recreational marijuana will be on sale legally for the first time in the state's history. Adults 21 and over will be able to purchase cannabis at 12 retail locations statewide.
To start selling recreational marijuana?
Cannabis as a less dangerous drug than heroin doesn't seem to be at the top of the Trump administration's priorities right now. Even though he promised to do so during his Senate confirmation hearing back in April, newly sworn-in DEA Administrator Terrence Cole just released his top priorities list with, quote, renewed focus on enforcement, partnership, and public safety to meet the evolving threats of the global drug crisis. Missing from that list, reviewing where the DEA stands on the proposed rule to reclassify cannabis from a Schedule I drug, which includes deadly fentanyl and LSD, to a Schedule III drug under the Controlled Substances Act. Is hope going up in smoke for any cannabis-related company? And that would include Scott's Miracle-Gro, which sells equipment to cannabis growers, among other parts of their business. Joining us now, Scott's Miracle-Gro Chairman and CEO, Jim Hagedorn. Jim, let's talk about this first. How do you interpret the fact that Cole made no mention of reclassifying weed as a less dangerous substance? What do you learn from that?
Well, I think he's a career law enforcement guy. I'm not surprised by it. I think there's one person who could change it, and he's told me and others that he will, and that's the president of the United States, Donald Trump, who I'm a major fan of. So I think what he needs to hear is a call from the president or the chief of staff saying this is a promise he made during the campaign, and promises made or promises kept. I think that's what needs to happen. I don't expect, a law enforcement guy to lead with, let's make pot legal, even though it's legal in almost every state in the nation.
41 states at the moment. But Jim, so you spoke to the president recently, since he's been in office the second time around, and he seemed very open to this reclassification?
Multiple times.
Okay, so I don't know. It just feels like nobody does anything without the president's approval. So one minute he's saying he would reclassify this or at least consider it. I'm talking about the DEA chief, and then suddenly he's not bringing it up. So let's talk about how this all looks through the prism of your business. And one of the parts of your business is the Hawthorne arm of it, which is the hydroponics business, everything from watering tools and lighting for cannabis. It's not the biggest part of your business, certainly, but tell me exactly how these brands are faring in the wake of what appears to be at least a stalled effort.
Well, I mean, it's a tale of two cities, really. The business is clearly smaller as a result of, it's because it's it says Schedule I, the tax rate is 80% on the federal side. And so nobody can make money. Everybody who has invested like us has been
state makes
destroyed.
Money.
And
the owners
so
don't.
There's no real capital available,
the
and everybody's suffering because what we sell are mostly cultivation supplies. And those cultivation supplies are like capital, hard goods, and people aren't investing right now. And that's bad for the industry. Now, the other side of that is our business is now profitable after like a while where it wasn't. So we've had 3 profitable quarters in a row. And so it's not really hurting us, but it's a distraction. And what we're trying to do is take that business and use it as a tool for us and others to consolidate a pure pot business where it's not mixed in with a lawn and garden business and distracting our investors, especially when, it's a smaller business and
it should be a self entity.
It's gotten to the point in our side where it's just, I'm not sure it's large enough for it to sort of take the distraction. So we think it leaves with it's profitable. It's got a very stable business. It's got a great management team. It doesn't have any tax issues because it's not a pot business. It's
Right.
a supply business. It's legal. And so, and it's got no debt, which a lot of these companies have both regular debt, which is, kind of 15% debt, and they have tax debt. So our business, as a addition to a pot company, I think will really help people's balance sheet. And it sort of puts it where it should be, where it's investors who are interested in pot and not lawn and garden investors who are sort of tired of the whole thing.
Okay. Well, you are the world's leader for lawn and garden equipment and products. So am I hearing you correctly? You might spin off the Hawthorne piece of this into a different business?
100%.
Okay.
So we're working hard on that right now. And that's kind of my older son's number one job, is to get that business placed into probably another public company, but that's purely pot based.
Makes sense, because you're doing enough business, certainly in the lawn and garden area. But what is the issue there? If you'd like to see those numbers go up in everything from fertilizer to lawn equipment, is it that the housing market is frozen at the moment, so people aren't putting more into gardening? Is it simply that at the moment people are busy, they're back to work, unlike if you look at your stock, the actual unbelievable spike came in March of 2021 during the lockdowns, where people really started gardening more. I remember I was going out and looking for mint seeds to plant. I was trying to plant things.
Look, Liz, lawn and garden is super healthy.
Right.
This is now the second quarterly result where we had really great results and the stock goes down. So I'm going to say I'm a little confused as to what our investors are looking at, what they see, because we grew our dollar consumer volume by 2%. The sales so far year to date, and we're getting to sort of the end of the season, are plus 8% in units at retail, which is what really matters. Inventories are in a great place there. Our gross margins up, call it 350 basis points. Our EBITDA is up. Our EPS was a major plus surprise. Our leverage way down, like 1.25 turns of leverage reduced to almost where we want to be in a normal place.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say, if you look at consumer sales of our products at retail in the last 2 years, plus 17%. This is a very, very healthy business.
What about tariffs? Tell me if you're affected at all by that. I know you're very American-based in many regards, but give me a sense of how you are watching those headlines come through.
Look, I'm a major supporter of President Trump. Our biggest single import is peat moss from Canada, out of our own bogs. And that is still covered under the MCA, and it's an agricultural product, so that's 0%. We've got some knits and gnats, which is like spreader parts that we import from China. And, just a bunch of knits and gnats. Some of the active ingredients are foreign based that are coming in that we use. And so I think we're probably talking less than $15 million a year in tariffs, which I would say is virtually zeros. So there are a lot of people in the industry who have issues. It's not us.
Jim, I know you've got your board waiting for you to enter the board meeting. We will let you go. Thank you very, very much for taking the time to come on with us exclusively. We're watching the business, and let us know when.
Yeah, I hope they don't fuck with my weed and mess with my prices, especially at the dispensary, because I used to grow my own. I used to, I could grow up to 6 plants. And I can have up to 6 juvenile if I wanted to grow. But my back and my neck is too fucked up for me to want to even attempt to try to grow. It takes a lot of physicalness, especially hydroponics. So I'm just not going to be doing that. It's just not in my cards, And I thought, I could get better and feel better to be able to do it, but no, I'm not. And I'm actually going to be selling off my equipment just because I'm just not going to be ignoring. It just takes too much. You have to use a lot of your back, your neck, and there's a lot of bending over and and then adjusting the water and making sure you got the right chemicals and then when you have to exchange the water, like to change out the water, and that takes a lot, and I'm just not there with my health, and I don't think I'll ever be back to where I was in my health ever again. It's just a slippery sliding downhill for me. I'm just taking everyone for the ride, and you guys, thank you for being a part of the show here and watching with me, and those who rewatch, thank you. I truly appreciate you guys so much. Try to bring you guys the news that I haven't even seen yet. I want us to watch it together because there's nothing else to do, so let's watch some news.
Is first at 5. And taking a look outside at the city skyline, flash flood warnings are in effect.
Yeah, we're going to get flooding here tonight too.
In parts of Long Island right now, Governor Hochul
it was raining earlier.
A state of emergency for
There's
our
a warning
entire
here.
Viewing area. The mayor declaring a state of emergency for the city. And at this hour, the entire state of New Jersey is also under a state of emergency.
Take a look at this video. Just in, floodwaters shutting down the Clearview Expressway in both directions at Northern Boulevard. Citizen app showing cars and trucks stranded in those deep waters there, and a long line of vehicles just trying to take the exit to higher ground.
And in Bayside, Queens, heavy rain slowing traffic on the Cross Island Parkway. The flooding a major concern, even with more rain falling throughout the night.
We've got Fox 5 team coverage tonight.
That's a lot of rain.
Monitor the situation outside minute by minute.
We began
we're supposed to get that here tonight.
Tracking the storms on the radar tonight. What's the latest, Audrey?
Well, Natasha and Bianca, flooding conditions still persist across the tri-state area. We've been under the risk for a flash flood risk from New York City all the way down towards New Jersey. And that's exactly where the axis of rain has set up over the last few hours. So flash flooding is occurring in the areas shaded here in green. This is where we have warnings in effect. That means flash flooding is occurring at the moment. And we do have a lot of wet roadways out there that are underwater in many parts of the region here. We're tracking this line of storms that has been working its way from west to east here. Earlier, we had a tornado warning in and around Plainfield, New Jersey, with this one cell that has now moved eastward here into Staten Island and southern portions of Brooklyn. But you can see it's still pretty intense as it makes its way across New York City and Long Island. But we're going to go down to the Jersey Shore first, where there's a really nasty cell that's been over Tom's River.
I mean, it's
here.
great for
it
the
hasn't
trees.
made much movement, and now it seems to have diminished.
We need
in
the rain,
intensity, but it's still producing a significant amount of rainfall.
But that's
and
heavy rain
across this part of the Jersey Shore.
Jersey's going to be flooding tonight.
We go here just north of Atlantic Highlands. We see a couple of cells here, also producing some downpours. Just
I know up here in Connecticut we're supposed to get some stuff.
Long Island, this is where the brunt of it is happening right now. We have very wet roadways all across the Long Island area, from Nassau all the way through Suffolk County, especially along the North Shore here. We have one nasty cell that's encompassing much of the North Shore, just north of Sayville here, owing over towards the Sound, and we have lots of cloud to ground lightning here. So if you don't need to be outdoors, don't get on the roadways and definitely stay indoors for the next couple of hours.
Connecticut's okay for right now.
Valley has
I mean, it rained earlier.
All of us here, basically, it's been light rain on and off for
it's
you.
supposed to
With just a couple of downpours. We're not seeing any strong storm cells here, but there is a line kind of forming just north of Monticello that will be working eastward. So you'll probably get a couple of steady rain showers as we go through areas like Walden, crossing the river over towards Dutchess County, as well as Ulster County too. So this line that we're watching to the south here, this is where the most severe weather is happening.
Yeah,
and this
that's where
extends
the
all the way
severe
down
weather
towards
is setting up.
Philadelphia, where we've had reports in and around the city there of 3 to 5 inches of rainfall
some
in
areas
a very
is
short
training,
amount of time, and that's
where
pretty dangerous.
It's like
for
training
flooding.
they call,
Lighter rainfall now
where
being
the
found
rain
off to the
it's
north
like
here, and we see a little bit of a lull
it
in the
stays
action.
in the red.
However, we're still under the threat
and it's moving,
of more
but
showers
it
and the
keeps
possibility of downpours and
redeveloping
storms
and keeps
as we go into the
falling.
next couple of hours here. So
And
we're
that
continuing
causes
the flood watch for the
flash
entire
floods.
tri-state area, and this is actually until tomorrow morning. And a severe thunderstorm watch continues until 8 o'clock for the county shaded in pink here, and that does include New York City and most of New Jersey. There's also an air quality alert for the entire state of Connecticut because of all the heat and
my
state was building in.
Yeah, it's fucking smoky here.
Off, or at least the storm
Thank you,
will
Canada.
tonight, but we're going to still leaving the chance for a few light rain showers right until tomorrow morning, and then things get much better from there.
Canada.
But it's really wreaking havoc on some of the roadways.
They need to get their act together. They got to get rid of the illegals.
To see how the traffic is doing around the tri-state area.
Hey there, Audrey. And because of this weather, actually, side has been
Damn,
suspended
I would not want to
tomorrow, so
be
you
in
don't have
New
to worry
York.
about moving your car, and it is a mess. Just take a look at the
Oh,
map. A lot of red, a lot of
no.
black. That's the roads that are closed right now. Here's a look at the LA by the Cross Island
No.
Parkway.
Look at
Some
these
of that flooding.
cars.
This is traffic heading westbound, so flooding in the right side of the roadway, causing everyone to go to the
Flooding.
left. So it's still dealing with
First
that
of
right
all,
now. And then over on the Cross Island, the Clearview Expressway. We'll have
why
more.
there's
Show you
not
some video, but this is what's
anyone
going on right
attending
now.
to that?
Part of the roadway has been reopened, still trying
As
to
far
clear
as the city's
everything, but most of
concerned.
that flooding taken away. All you see is dirt there. The Cross
I mean,
Island,
they know the
that was
rain is
Clearview. The Cross
coming.
Island, that
They should
remains
have
closed between the
crews
Throgsneck
like
Bridge
on
and
standby
Northern
ready
Boulevard,
to
also
attack those
closed between Union
areas.
Turnpike and the Grand Central, actually both
Yeah,
directions.
but that's too
And this is
much,
traffic
right?
conditions in the
That's too
Bronx,
much to
completely
fucking
jammed.
think
We
New
have
York,
accident stalls, things
especially
going
New
on
York
as
City,
usual for the evening
the
commute. But
heart
the Cross
of
Bronx,
like
that's a parking lot, both
the
directions
heart of the
traveling around there.
garbage
And then with the subway, severe
lately.
delays with the A, D, E, F, and F and M
Once
trains.
upon a
They had
time, New York
problems since
City
this morning
was
because of switching
awesome.
problems, power
Once upon a
problems there.
time.
So we have but the service back, but still service suspended with the B and C trains. They're trying to catch
Subway, you
everything up.
guys
And then the
are
Q trains,
crazy. Look,
the part of that
suspended
is
both
suspended. I
ways.
just
B
saw
and the
that
C,
because of the downed
yeah,
tree.
screwed.
If you're taking New Jersey Transit,
And that's what
Gladstone
that
Branch
means.
suspended both directions between Burnersville and
Oh,
Gladstone.
even the
LA
trains
Double
are
R also has
suspended.
service suspended because of the weather over at the Port
Oh,
Washington branch. Back to you guys.
yeah.
All right, Inez,
Yeah,
thank you so much for
screwed
the update on
tonight.
that. Meanwhile, some
You better go
dramatic video
sleep at
into
your
the
friend's
newsroom this
house
evening
if
of major flooding on the Clearview
work in New York
Expressway
and
in
live in
Queens.
Connecticut
Yeah, unbelievable. Fox Eyes just
and
confirmed
don't
us to join
drive
us
and you
live
depend on
from
the
Bayside,
transit
where commuters are just struggling to make
unless
their
you
way
take an
home. That
Uber.
video just surprising to
If
see,
you got the money
Jess.
like that.
That's right, Natasha and Bianca. Just as we were coming on the air, finally the Clearview Expressway opened up in both directions. But I have to tell you, I'm
Yeah,
going to
that
step away
rain's
so you
coming
can
here
see here
tonight.
that traffic is moving
We're getting a
slowly.
lot of rain
These
tonight.
drivers were stuck in this traffic for
Like,
about 2 hours,
I
if
feel
not
it. I've been
more.
feeling it all
And the
day. I've
scene
been
here,
cranky
nothing
today.
compared to what happened at around
Like a
3
little
o'clock.
bitch cranky.
Let's look at this video here from Citizen app. You can see rescue crews
But look at
on
this.
scene,
Holy
cars,
shit.
and even this white
How the hell
big
did
truck
this truck get
submerged
in the
in
water?
You can see there a man
Wait a
on
minute.
top of the roof of his car waiting to be
Are you
rescued. I
kidding
was
me?
told that that gentleman got out of the car, then
Why
went
did they
back in his
go
car,
that
and
far
that's when
deep
firefighters told
into
him
the
absolutely
water?
not get out and get on top of the car,
What is
meaning
going
get on the
on
roof
here?
until he was rescued. The expressway was closed down in both
Oh,
directions,
wow.
and when we got here, I want to
I
show you
mean,
video.
you can
This
swim
video
that.
is when
You
we
can
arrived
actually
on
walk
scene,
that.
which
You
is
don't need
about
to swim it.
4:15, 4:30, and by then the
It's,
water had
it's about
receded.
3
Still,
feet
that
high.
big white truck was here in the middle of the road waiting to be towed along with another sedan. The issue here that we saw too was that there was so much debris clotting, over
Yeah, because
the drains here,
the gutters
covering the
weren't
drains, so
clean.
the water could not
The
get
storm
by. We
drainage, the
spoke to
gutters,
one man
I bet
who
you they
tells
were
us that this
clogged.
happened so
And
quickly.
all the
5
cars,
minutes,
now
he
they
says.
cleaned
He says
out
if you were
the
driving
gutter
on
and
this
look
road
how
and
it
you said,
emptied
hey, let me
out the
try to
water.
get by, you just got stuck. And that's what happened to these drivers. Go ahead and
That's what
take a
happened.
listen to what he told me he saw once he arrived here on scene.
Yeah, water was out of control. The tractor trailer was all the way up to the wheels. You couldn't see the wheels. This white BMW was almost submerged. And the water was just all over the place.
The water was just all over the place. Okay.
And
That
here's
was-
video over at
thank
Bell
you.
Boulevard in
Like,
Bayside,
you couldn't have-
Queens.
you
So
couldn't-
much
you couldn't
flooding
tell
there.
based on the
You see the
pictures
White
and
Castle.
video they
This
were
is
watching.
DOT video. We actually called into White Castle, and the employees told us over the phone that they were their store, their shop was submerged in water, flooding inside that White Castle as well.
Wow.
And now let's take you to the Cross
White Castle
Island
flooded.
and Northern Boulevard, where you see their cars having a hard time getting by. But here, back live to Bayside by the Clearview Expressway, traffic now moving in both directions. The expressway has reopened, but
Oh,
really, like you
nice.
said, Natasha, a
Yeah, 'cause they
dramatic
cleaned out the
scene
storm,
here. People on the roof
gutter.
of their cars waiting
That's what it
to
is.
be rescued, and this all happened in a matter of just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I send it back to you
If
inside.
you have the
so
gutters
dramatic, even that
closed and they're
semi-truck
sealed because
submerged.
they have
It's
gunk on
pretty
it.
wild video. All right, Jess,
and
thank you so much.
leaves
A similar
and
scene in
debris.
North Plainfield, New Jersey, where flooding is
It's gonna
already
flood
an
like
issue.
this 'cause
Cars
the
on
water
Route
has no
22
place
being
to
forced
go.
to make their way through rising waters. A few
I
drivers
even
told Fox
remember when
5
I
they
was
are
young. I
not
got a
taking
story.
any chances driving
After
on
the
flooded
story, I have a
streets.
story.
So I going to pick it up the customer. I walk for Uber. So when I see a lot of rain, I cancel the request because it's a lot of rain, heavy storm.
I see this light strike and I see all these waters coming from the hills. and get into this area, and I'm not taking risks to go under the water. Yeah, it's too dangerous.
Yeah, that is the right call. Definitely don't drive in that. The city
You don't
has
drive in
dealt with
flooded
severe
waters.
storms over the past few weeks.
That's okay. That was just New York is New York City, you could be so much better than what you are today. You could be like 100 times better than where you are today. But the people that you have running your city, it's garbage. A 5-minute storm caused a major flooding because the storm drainage wasn't cleared. Knowing that during this time of the year we get storms like this, and they should know that if a front or a system's coming through that's going to possibly drop heavy rain, will you send out a crew, like send out a small army to clean out the gutters in certain areas that are known to flood? I mean, what happened to being proactive? Where's the proactive? Where's the action to freaking New York? You're getting money. You're getting paid. Like, do the fucking job. You guys are so lazy. A 5-minute storm cost how much money? Like, that truck got flooded out. That semi truck we saw there got flooded out. A couple of cars. I thought I heard like a BMW or something got flooded out. White Castle got flooded out. That's a restaurant. So now they're not gonna have any sales tonight because they got to close the place because now they got to clean the place. And then you can't just. Oh my god, what a mess! Fucking New York, man. But Jersey, you guys getting heavy rain tonight, and if you're in the flood area, y'all better fucking move. I'm just telling you right now. Flood waters don't care. Where I live, we still get flooding. Like the street turns into the rapids. Like it. I live in a valley, so like there's hills all over, and we're like on the downside of it, and the water be coming down like it's like slip and slide. It's like I feel like doing a paper boat and just letting it go into the water and just letting it go like the freaking It movie. I want the clown to come out and eat everybody here. Eat the bad people. Leave the good ones alone. Hey, Josie. How you doing? How you been feeling? Like shit, Josie. Rain this year has been rough to many states. Yeah, I mean, like Texas. Like, I mean, not so much California. California, you guys are all right. But like New York, here, Connecticut, Jersey, certain like as Texas, holy shit. They still haven't found the people. They stopped reporting on it. That's sad. They stopped reporting on it. I follow the news every day, so I know like the energy and where they're going and where they're focusing their energy and stuff, and then the distractions, and I can feel everything. I know things, right? And we stopped talking about the flooding in Texas. We stopped talking about the flooding in North Carolina, the Carolina flooding from Helene, the hurricane that went up that way, and dumped heavy amounts of water and had a crazy flood event there. That Biden didn't want to help and did not help those that were affected by that flood in that storm. But there's many places that's the one I'm focusing in my mind is the Texas, right? Because there's a lot of people still missing. Like we're talking about this killed, I think it's over like 400 or 500 people by now. I don't know where they're at. They stopped reporting on it. I'm gonna have to search and look for something and maybe present something for tomorrow. But they kind of really like toned that down. They toned it down. And now they want you to focus on the $200 million ballroom that Trump and donators are pitching in to build. First of all, that land is the people's land. That land is not the president's land. That land is not the government's land. That land is the people's land. And us, the people, did not vote to have a ballroom erected in the East Garden, the east side of the White House. No, it's just, I don't know. I just think it's just a waste. It's a fucking waste. It makes me mad thinking about it. Because it's just they could have done something else. Like they could have gone to the Department of Education and made that into a ballroom. You know, they have facilities where they could do that are empty. You know, and they could turn that into a ballroom. But why build a new facility right next to the White House? Like, I don't know. I'm never gonna go to that ballroom, so. Like, it's crazy. I don't know. Let's go to some news here. Give me one. There's a couple of ones that we need to look at. My eyes are burning right now. Hold on. Rain this year has, yeah. Fucking sucks. I've been up and down packing people's. And yeah, I'm still wondering on the whole school kid in Hawaii. Yeah, I'm still like the fires of Hawaii. You remember the fires in Maui? Why we're not getting any reports on that? How come we don't have a final count of the death and what's happening to that land out there? Nothing. You don't hear nothing about the fires in California or the people that are uprising, how they were doing like with the ice and stuff and protesting, and no, cut it out of the mark, like cut it out of, not talking about it, you know. And they want you to focus on other things, and this is a form of mind control. You know that, right? And I pick up on it. I pick up on it. I pick up on the mind control and how they love to play with people's emotions. Yeah, the things with the kids, I mean, it's wild. I don't know. All right, let's go to this next story, and then I got a couple of stories to watch on this. So let me set it up. And let's watch together.
It was a random attack. This married couple was murdered while out hiking with their 2 young daughters. A suspect has just been arrested. What's shocking many is the fact that he's an elementary school teacher, and cops put him in cuffs right in the middle of getting a haircut. Amber Cogliano has details.
He's the accused school teacher charged with a brutal
Yeah,
murder
he looks
of 2
evil as
hikers
fuck.
in front of their children. 28-year-old
Damn, look at that face.
was arrested in the middle of getting a haircut. Video obtained by CNN shows him walking into the salon for a trim. Minutes later, cops arrived to arrest him. He was taken to the county jail. Police say he admitted killing the couple and was charged with 2 counts of capital murder. His hair was straight when he was arrested, but in a second mugshot, his hair looks very different.
The intense
What the hell
manhunt
he
began
did to
on
his
Saturday
hair?
when 2 sisters,
He gelled it
ages
up?
7 and 9, ran to the visitor center at the Devil's Den State Park in Arkansas and told a horrifying story.
2 children are there. Their parents were assaulted. One was possibly stabbed.
State troopers found 43-year-old Clinton Brink and his wife, Kristen, stabbed to death on the popular hiking trail.
Oh, they were stabbed to death. I was
A
wondering
police
how
sketch
they
was
were
released
killed.
along with a photo taken from behind of the suspect wearing a backpack.
They absolutely protected those girls to the point that it cost them their lives. We're in awe of this mom and dad.
McGann reportedly resigned as a teacher at this Dallas area elementary school in 2023 after complaints of inappropriate conduct with students. Lindsay Polyak's son was in his class.
My son told me that Mr. McGann would tickle girls. And then I heard that he was encouraging girls to sit on his lap in the classroom.
Last month, he started a new job at an elementary school in Arkansas. I'm thrilled to be part of the team as a third grade teacher. I love going to concerts with friends, working out and being outdoors, he posted on Facebook. The chilling murder is raising fears about the dangers of hiking in the woods. Shane Hobel is a wilderness survival expert.
Crazies.
This is pepper spray. I like to have a couple of them. This is a must in everybody's backpack.
Yeah, but in some states, pepper spray is illegal. So be careful. Don't just go pepper spraying people and shit. Know the laws in your state.
Well, Arkansas State Police making an arrest in the murders of a married couple while they were just out hiking with their 2 young kids. 28-year-old James Andrew McGann is accused of killing Clinton and
he looks
Kristen
so
Brink
like
Saturday
evil,
in Devil's
man.
Den State Park, a busy park there.
He really
is being
got that
charged with 2
darkness in
counts
him,
of capital
man. Look at
murder.
that.
And Governor Sarah Huckabee
can see
Sanders
it.
saying this about
You
the
can feel
arrest.
it.
Let there be no mistake. We do not tolerate violent crime in Arkansas. If you target innocent people, law enforcement will hunt you down and bring you to justice. And that is exactly what happened here. Criminal defense attorney Donna Rotuno is a Fox News contributor joining us now after reading through some of what just happened here. Donna, I know it's early, but what do we know about this guy? I know that he was a teacher, so he was around a lot of kids. I mean, this is just shocking.
Hi, Aisha. How are you? It really is a shocking story and so unfortunate.
Look at that
My
face.
goodness. 2 parents of 2 young children out hiking and
Mm-mm.
enjoying their time
He
together.
went like
in the
that to
summer.
go to the barber shop?
Unbelievable. I mean, obviously, this
Yeah, he
man has
looked
passed background
busted.
checks. That's how he was able to work in school. So clearly, he has no background. Who knows what's going on here? Who knows if this is a psychotic episode? So far, it doesn't seem that there's been any connection between the parents and this killer, basically. I mean, I know this is a point where it's alleged, but I mean, there seems to be no connection whatsoever. This does not seem to be targeted in any way, and no reason why the children were spared. And this is just an awful story.
Yeah, and they found him so quickly.
That's super awful.
I want to read a quick statement from Arkansas
He
State
looked
Police here.
horrible.
This is Mike Hager.
He looked
says
dark.
a collaboration between state police, other state and local law enforcement agencies, and our federal partners has been second to none. And because of their hard work and investigative skill, we were able to take a monster off the streets and bring relief to those 2 precious girls and the rest of our citizens.
Maybe he was
I found
going
it
after the
so
girls?
Fascinating. And maybe you can get into his head
Like, there
a
has to
little bit
be
here.
a
He was found at a
backstory.
barber shop getting his hair cut.
Was
I
he
mean, just
flirting with
living
the little
his
girls?
life like it was normal.
And the parents said something, and then he went and
It's
stabbed them?
definitely very bizarre behavior, and to
I
just sort
mean-
of go on and not really be hiding out in any way definitely seems quite
Anyone could
bizarre.
tell is
So
the
we're
little
probably going
girls.
to really get into the mental background of him and the fact that he did leave his other school fairly quickly, it seemed, and moved to another state. So
Damn, this
who
guy
knows if we're
looks
going to
fucked up.
uncover anything in his previous area of residence. And this is just an awful situation. And those
Man,
poor
he
children.
looks
Donna, do we think he
horrible.
knew this family? He didn't harm the girls, the 2 little girls that I can't even imagine what they saw and heard and what they went through and what they're dealing with now. But he didn't harm them.
Yeah, you wonder if that comes from his background as an educator and he just has some type of sympathy toward children. It doesn't seem that there's any connection between these parties, but I guess time will tell us. I mean, as of now, we're not being told that. They did find him quickly, so I don't know what information they have that was able to, lead them to this quick arrest.
Cameras.
But I'm sure in the next coming days, we're going to find out
Cameras,
much
they
more.
track it.
Okay. Donna Rotuno on this just gruesome, horrific story. Very
They could
scary.
track you down
So many
by
people hike
cameras.
in that area, and this has just been hard to digest here.
Yeah.
So thanks for being on with us. Thanks, Donna.
Thanks.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilby.
And
And
I'm
Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox
all
News
highways
YouTube
have,
page
like,
to catch our
this,
hottest interviews
camera
and
system.
most compelling.
That it's it's like they follow you. They know where you're at all times. You pull out your house, you get on the highway, the camera says hi to you. You know, it knows where you get on and where you get off, and there's no privacy anymore. Everything's under their control. They're controlling the narrative. The United States is not really free. It's still under a heavy surveillance, controlled by the deep state. And here in Democrat cities, it's just not getting any better. I tell you right now, it's going to get a lot more worse than better. But they are putting more cameras up here. They're actually putting speed cameras. And they had a story from Washington, Connecticut, where they made over, I think it was like $500,000 in fines. And they just started with their program, and they already like got, I think, like what, less than 30 days, over $500,000 worth of fines. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Imagine a whole year passing through there and people having to pay speeding tickets. I feel like that's a double dip, because here in Connecticut, they charge you taxes on your car. So every year you get a tax bill for your car. Even if your car is paid off and your car is an old piece of shit, you still have to pay a car tax. I call that double dipping. You know, they create these honey holes, and then they double dip on the money, and then they don't really pass it down to the residents. They don't like give any relief to the residents. Like, they want us to pay more taxes. They want us to be more under control, and it's just wild. You know, I mean, I'm rooting for the asteroid. I am I'm rooting for it. They're somewhere back here. It's the asteroid. They're coming towards Earth. So I sent them to Earth. They're all scattered up there. They're going to Earth. But yeah, I just feel like states like New York, I don't know if anyone has driven through New York, but that's a tax bill. Like, crossing the George Washington, you have to pay for that. Like, there's tolls in New York, and the thing is, they're slick, because like, you accumulate the tolls and then they send you the bill to your house. They send the bill to your house, and you have 30 days to pay it. And if you don't pay it, then your registration would be suspended. Like, you're fucked, you know? So they really, really push you to pay your fees, that there's no other way to get around New York without having to go through those fees. It's just ridiculous. Because there's not like a free passage, like a free way to go through. Like, there's no free way. You have to pay. But they're trying to bring that shit here to Connecticut, and you know, it is what it is. Yeah, they're getting greedy. Like, Connecticut doesn't have a lot of like police officers. They're part of that, like the especially when it comes to the state troopers. The state troopers, they're not much out here. There are some, but not a lot at all. And the excuse they're probably going to use is, yeah, it's a small state, you know. But they waste money, and they bloat up their budget bills, and then there's not enough money for like education. There's no money for, you know, things that is actually necessary for the state, No, no, no. We don't have money for that, but we have other money for other things, and it has nothing to do with you, the residents. It's none of your. It's your money, but it's not going to be used for you. What? It's crazy. Hey, Seven, how you doing, brother? Um, Going back to this killer guy. I want to know more about his origin story. So let's go to Texas because he was actually a teacher in Texas. So let's check this story out.
I want to share some new information we've learned tonight about the suspect accused of killing 2 people at an Arkansas state park. He used to be a teacher here in North Texas. Our Robbie Owen speaking with the parent of a former student who says something about him was always troubling.
Oh shit, he
in
was
August
always
of
in trouble.
2022, a smiling Andrew McGann
He has a
appears
Hitler
in a now
cat.
scrubbed Facebook
He
post
has a Hitler cat.
introducing himself to the families of Donald Elementary in Flower Mound. What they're learning now,
The
though,
school's
has
named
left the community
Donald.
shaken.
I was shocked and horrified and saddened, but also angry, honestly, because there were signs that not all was right with Mr. McGann.
Sierra Markham's son is a former student. 3 years ago, she says he reluctantly reported that he was uncomfortable with how the first-year teacher singled out the girls in the class, bringing them extra treats and goodies, keeping some in his classroom at recess alone.
Really, the tipping point for him, I think, was when he overheard Mr. McGann tell one of the little girls, "If you were older, I would love to marry you." And that was the day he came home and started crying.
3 years later, that Facebook post has become a mugshot. McGann has been charged with the weekend murders of Clinton and Kristen Brink. The couple was hiking at Arkansas's Devil's Den State
I don't
Park
understand
with their 2
this.
young daughters. The girls were able to escape. Louisville ISD released a statement confirming McGann's brief tenure at Donald Elementary, sharing, quote, "The individual was placed on administrative leave in the spring of 2023 following concerns related to classroom management, professional judgment, and student favoritism. An internal investigation found no evidence of inappropriate behavior with students." But Markham isn't buying it and is angry that McGann was allowed to resign.
You know, you drop off your kids every day and you're entrusting these people, and we were literally dropping our kids off to a monster. And the fact that he was allowed to continue teaching is what blows my mind.
She says her son has also been shaken by the news, but is proud that he saw something and said something. In Flower Mound, Robbie Owens, CBS News, Texas.
So this guy had priors. He was a sicko. He was a sicko when he had his last job in Texas. Oh no! And then he quit. Well, he kind of resigned, but since they didn't fire him or like any disciplinary anything or anything, he quit. They weren't able to put any like negative towards his record or anything like that. So that's how he went over to Georgia and was able to get to Arkansas and over to get the teaching gig that he got. He was teaching kindergarten, and then from kindergarten he went up to 3rd grade. He was going to be a 3rd grade teacher. And then the thing is that the couple was there with their 2 girls. What made him snap and stab these people? You know, you gotta put yourself in that position, right? Put yourself in his position. Like, what could get you so mad that you have to stab these like the mother and the father? But what would get me mad that would get me to want to kill somebody? At a park, nature, that I'm enjoying nature. Like, I don't even know what would get me so mad to kill somebody. Not only one person, too, and husband and wife. Mm-mm. That's not nice. Bad energy. I know there's another story, not about him. We're gonna move off of him because he's making me sick. But there's another murder, a homicide, a quadruple homicide. Like, let's check that out because I think this is gonna be a weird one too.
Let's go to this breaking news. The TBI has identified a suspect in a quadruple murder investigation that covers two counties in West Tennessee. Agents are right now looking for 28-year-old Austin Drummond. He is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. Now, this is what investigators have revealed about the case so far. Someone abandoned a baby girl outside a stranger's home. The very next day, her family was found dead on the side of the road. Witnesses saw a vehicle drop that baby off Tuesday in someone's front yard in Dyer County. Now, officers quickly identified the baby and then started looking for the family, but investigators found them dead about 40 minutes north in Lake County. Police have identified that baby's parents as Matthew Wilson and Adriana Williams, as well as 2 other victims, Courtney Rose and a 15-year-old boy. And this is breaking just moments ago. The TBI has identified a suspect in the case, and you can go to WKRN.com to see all of the information about this case.
Okay, that's very weird. This guy, we got to get more.
Well, developing now in West Tennessee, TBI agents have named a suspect in the murders of 4 family members. That leads off our top 4 for this afternoon.
The 4 people killed were found in Lake County in Northwest Tennessee Tuesday. TBI agents say they were the baby's father, mother, grandmother, and uncle. They ranged in age from 15 to 38 years old. The baby was found alive after being dropped off in neighboring Dyer County. Now, authorities are searching for the suspect you see here, Austin Robert Drummond. The 28-year-old is facing a number of charges, including first-degree murder and aggravated kidnapping. Records show a person with that same name served at least a decade in prison for another crime and was released back in September.
Maybe he didn't see
There's
the baby
always
in the back.
concern when there is a suspect or suspects out on that we have not caught yet. So anyone who knows of anything, please report it.
I didn't know what to think. I mean, honestly, I had heard that they found the car, the vehicle.
Oh.
I did not hear that there were bodies in there until today on the news.
Investigators are not saying exactly how those victims were killed. Anyone who knows where Drummond is asked to call 911 or the TBI.
Well, yeah. Can you tell us how he was, like, how this happened? Like, I'm curious. Like, I'm curious.
In Memphis, this is News Channel 3 at 4.
And breaking news on your news leader at 4, a manhunt this afternoon for the suspect wanted for killing 4 members of one family in West Tennessee.
They say 28-year-old Austin Drummond is considered armed and dangerous. He is charged with killing 21-year-old James Wilson, 20-year-old Adriana Williams, 38-year-old Courtney Rose, and 15-year-old Braden Williams. Their bodies were found in Lake County. They are all family members of a baby who was abandoned earlier in the day in Dyer County. Thank you for joining us. I'm April Thompson.
I'm Alex Coleman. Now, this is the vehicle authorities believe Drummond could be driving. It's a 2016 Audi A3 with Tennessee plates RI01896. The vehicle also has damage to the driver's side.
Now, we have learned that Drummond, who is from Jackson, Tennessee, was just released from prison last September for robbing a convenience store. And the district attorney confirmed to News Channel 3 that he either was dating or had dated a relative of one of the victims, Adriana Williams. The 4 victims' bodies were found in a rural area in Lake County on Tuesday. Now, although they were all from nearby Dyer County.
Now, of course, it is a scene that has completely shocked the small community in Lake County. That's where WREG's Mike Sirianni joins us live. Mike, what have you learned so far?
Hey, good afternoon, Alex and April.
I'm on Carrington Road, about 5 miles from Tiptonville. Now, behind me, about a mile down that road, is where law enforcement officers made that gruesome discovery Tuesday.
Wow, that's just really in the boonies. He took him
And
into the boonies?
Carrington Road is only about 2 miles long, winding through a wildlife refuge near Reelfoot Lake. Today, I located the site where TBI agents found those 4 victims Tuesday, and where 2 vehicles were recovered, a white SUV and a dark-colored sedan. The TBI pledging to find the responsible person or persons, and today announcing 28-year-old Austin Robert Drummond is wanted for 4 counts of first-degree murder. Good news that still does not lessen the shock of people who live nearby.
It's very shocking to have something happen this close to home. I mean, this is a very tight-knit community and very loving community, and something for this to happen is just shocking and just hurtful, and why anybody would want to do something like that, and it's just horrible.
And back out here live, we are going to have complete continuing coverage of this terrible event that's occurred. That's coming up at 5. You'll want to stay tuned for that. And of course, we'll be updating the story on WREG.com. Reporting live from Lake County for your news leader, Mike Suriani, WREG News Channel 3.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much. And we do want to remind you that baby girl who was found abandoned in Dyer County before those 4 victims were discovered was reportedly dropped off in a car seat in a random person's front yard. Authorities say she was related to those found dead. It's not known how long she was outside, but she was checked out by
found
EMS
in a car seat
workers.
outside of someone's
Again,
home.
28-year-old Austin Drummond is now on the TBI's most wanted list. He's wanted on several charges, including 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of aggravated kidnapping, among others. There is a reward of up to $2,500. Drummond is considered armed and dangerous, so if you see him, don't approach him. Call 1-800-TBI-FIND or 911. Of course, we'll have much more in the search throughout the evening, right here.
I don't know if she's a
on
YouTuber.
WREG News Channel 3.
But I think she had some kind of page or something. I don't know if she was a YouTuber. Not sure. Let's look at another. Let's check out which one should we go. We can go either or. I can open this one later.
News Channel 3 at 6.
Tonight, the search is on for the Jackson man accused of murdering 4 people and abandoning a baby in a case that spans across West Tennessee.
Authorities not only identifying that suspect, but telling us he had been in a relationship with one of the victim's family members. Austin Drummond is now wanted for murder, kidnapping, and other charges, and is believed to be armed and dangerous.
Wait a minute,
Investigators
what?
believe he's in a white Audi A3 with damage to the driver's
Wait
side.
a minute, you guys going too fast in the media. Hold on. I'm not high enough for this, okay? We'll play it back. I need a little break. You're telling me that this guy was kind of like a family friend type of thing? Man, they died very horribly, man. He'd be best off like himself. He'd be better off. I mean, he did spare the baby, so you know, what's up with these killers that they're sparing the kids and the baby? Like the last one, the one from Arkansas, that he killed the couple, the wife and the husband. and then didn't kill the girls, and they caught him. Now you got this other clown. And he kills the mother, the father, the grandmother, and the uncle of the baby. He killed them all and took the baby, left it on someone's porch. Oh, boy. I know. It's crazy. I don't know if she did YouTube. I think all these kids do YouTube, so I'm pretty sure she probably was. She probably did YouTube. I'm not sure. I don't have the full name. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, if the grandfather, or maybe someone within the family can take over. It's like their family, just the whole family got like axed, you know. So that's wild. Oh, oof, shock through the body. And the fact that car was registered to Rhode Island. I live next to Rhode Island. Let that motherfucker pass by my house. Come over here, motherfucker. I got something for you. I'm gonna use this and only this. I'm gonna use my definition rods. These motherfuckers will poke his eyes out. I will go like, right to the fucking eyes. And then when I pull him out, his eyeballs will be on the rods here. And I don't even think that's severe enough of a punishment. I believe he should have like the ultimate, like, put to death, definitely, right? But the way he killed these four should be the same way he gets gets killed. I always say eye for an eye. If you commit that crime, then that's the same crime you're gonna get right back. I believe in that type of justice. Like the couple from the Arkansas, Devil's Den. Well, they were stabbed to death. Okay, both of them were stabbed to death. So, as a punishment for him, and he's already admitted guilt. It's not allegedly. He has admitted guilt. I think an instant punishment, like now, just stab him in the heart the same way he stabbed them, stab him and kill him. I mean, it'll save the taxpayer a lot of money. It's like, damn, Rick's you don't want Rick's system. Don't let Rick become president. Nope. Don't let me become president, because I tell you right now, that $200 million ballroom is not sitting well with me still. That's why I named the show that, because it's not sitting with me. I don't like it. This is not good. But man, to kill, and then I would like to know how, But let's go back and listen to the story, because I'm not gonna stop it, but let's just listen in.
Tonight, the search is on. On for the Jackson man accused of murdering 4 people and abandoning a baby in a case that spans across West Tennessee.
Authorities not only identifying that suspect, but telling us he had been in a relationship with one of the victim's family members. Austin Drummond is now wanted for murder, kidnapping, and other charges, and is believed to be armed and dangerous. Investigators believe he's in a white Audi A3 with damage to the driver's side. He's now on the TBI's most wanted list with a $2,500 reward on his head. Tonight, we're also learning this isn't Drummond's first run-in with the law. In fact, he got out of prison less than a year ago after serving time for a 2013 armed robbery at a gas station in Jackson. And there's more. According to documents obtained by the WREG investigators, Drummond faced a long list of other charges stemming from his time in prison.
Yeah, that includes an attempted murder charge, which raises the question, why wasn't he already in custody at the time of the murders? Our WREG's Brian Ditleg spoke with the Dyer County District Attorney, and he joins us live now to answer that question. Brian, what did he have to say about that?
Stephanie and Greg, the simple answer, the suspect Drummond was already out on bond. Let me explain.
My answer would have been different.
Down one-on-one talking with District Attorney General Danny Goodman out here in Dyersburg. He explains Austin Drummond had charges, inside and outside his time in prison. During his sentence, Drummond racked up additional charges, some violent like attempted first-degree murder, various drug charges with intent to sell or deliver in a penal facility, and possession of a weapon. Drummond was originally locked up on an aggravated robbery charge out of Madison, but Goodman says he was released after serving his time.
He served the entire sentence, so he flattened that sentence. So there was no probation or parole for him to be on. So he was released from the Department of Corrections. Once that happens, he had these new charges pending from where it occurred inside the prison. But once that happens and he's released, it's no different than anyone else who's on the street and receives a charge.
Now, as I said earlier, Drummond was already out on bond for the charges that he received while in prison, and we were told by Goodman that he even appeared in court. We're live here in Dyersburg. Brian Ditleg for your news leader, WREG, Channel 3.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. So in the meantime, the manhunt goes on. We'll keep our eye on that.
What the fuck, man? Oh, man. It just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. Hold on. Let me... What time is this report? 5 p.m.? Well, let's look at the 5 p.m. report over here. Oh, man. And I think... Did we get the 6 p.m.? I think I'm going to have to get the 6 p.m. Let me see. Let me just open it up just in case. If we've seen it, we've seen it. But let's see this.
All right, let's get back to our big story tonight. The man wanted for the murders of 4 Dyer County residents is now the TBI's most wanted list. A massive manhunt is underway tonight for 28-year-old Austin Drummond.
Now, the search comes 2 days after a call about an abandoned baby that led to the discovery of these 4 bodies in nearby Lake County. Our Team 3 coverage of the manhunt continues now with our Mike Sirianni. He's in Lake County near the scene where the bodies were found. And Mike, what is the latest from there?
Hey, good afternoon, Greg and Stephanie. Now, Carrington Road is opened, as you can see, but for the better part of 2 days, it was closed as TBI agents investigated the deaths of 4 persons found about a mile down that road.
It's
we saw this
shocking
one.
to have something happen this close to home. I mean, this is a very tight-knit community and very loving community. And
Cody Donaldson lives in Tiptonville and says his community is reeling from the discovery
That's
of 4
wild.
bodies Tuesday about a mile down Carrington Road. Donaldson relieved to know a suspect, 28-year-old Austin Robert Drummond, is wanted for the 4 murders.
very, very happy that they have a suspect. I'm glad they were able to catch on to him quick, and hopefully they'll grab him real quick and get him put away.
Donaldson says he's familiar with Carrington Road and this wildlife refuge area and comes here often to enjoy nature.
And just walk around, walk in the woods, and it's a place where a lot of people come and just hang out.
I'm told this area on Carrington Road is where TBI agents were concentrating their investigation Tuesday and all day Wednesday. You can see a piece of crime scene tape hanging from that tree behind me. There are track marks here on the ground, but it's uncertain where the 4 victims were located. The TBI would not release that information or any details on
Yeah,
a
I
white
want
SUV
details.
and dark-colored sedan taken from the scene Wednesday, but did officially identify the victims.
The deceased have been identified as James M. Wilson, 21, Adriana Williams, 20.
Adriana Williams. Adriana. That's her name, Josie. Is that her name? Because you're trying to figure out if she was a YouTuber. This is the mother. This is the grandma, actually. This one right here.
Wilson, 21, Adriana Williams, 20.
Yeah, Adriana Williams. I wonder if that's the name of the girl, Josie. Yeah, definitely gonna have to put the kids in state care, or if a family member would. But it's just the whole story is just wild. I want to know how they got into the woods. Were they taken there forcefully? Like there's so much and they don't give out no information. Let's go to this other one here. Let me fix this. Okay, let's check out this one. This is the 6 p.m. I think we've seen this one. I gotta put up the sound.
Man accused of murdering 4 people and abandoning a baby in a case that spans across West Tennessee.
Authorities not only identifying that suspect, but telling us he had been in a relationship with one of the victim's family members. Austin Drummond is now wanted for murder, kidnapping, and other charges, and is believed to be armed and dangerous. Investigators believe he's in a white Audi A3 with damage to the driver's side. He's now on the TBI's most wanted list with a $2,500 reward on his head. Tonight, we're also learning this isn't Drummond's first run-in with the law.
That's a little bit of money.
In fact, he got out of prison less than a year ago after serving time for a 2013 armed robbery at a gas station in Jackson. And there's more. According to documents obtained by the WRG investigators, Drummond faced a long list of other charges stemming from his time in prison.
Yeah, that includes an attempted murder charge, which raises the question, why wasn't he already in custody at the time of the murders? Our WRG's Brian Ditleg spoke with the Dyer County District Attorney, and he joins us live now to answer that question. Brian, what did he have to say about that?
Stephanie, Greg, the simple answer, the suspect, Drummond, was already out on bond. Let me explain. We sat down one-on-one talking with District Attorney General Danny Goodman out here in Dyersburg. He explains Austin Drummond had charges, inside and outside his time in prison. During his sentence, Drummond racked up additional charges, some violent like attempted first-degree murder, various drug charges with intent to sell or deliver in a penal facility, and possession of a weapon. Drummond was originally locked up on an aggravated robbery charge out of Madison, but Goodman says he was released after serving his time.
He served the entire sentence. So he flattened that sentence. So there was no probation or parole for him to be on. So he was released from the Department of Corrections. Once that happens, he had these new charges pending from where it occurred inside the prison. But once that happens and he's released, it's no different than anyone else who's on the street and receives a charge.
Now, as I said earlier, Drummond was already out on bond for the charges that he received while in prison, and we were told by Goodman that he even appeared in court. We're live here in Dyersburg. Brian Ditleg for your news leader, WREG, Channel 3.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. So in the meantime, the manhunt goes on. We'll keep our eye on that.
That's wild. I want to check out this one here. This one just popped up. I want to see what this is about.
LaGrange man for murder after a road rage shooting on Interstate 85 that left another motorist dead.
Fox 5's
Oh
Doug Evans
shit,
learned the
road
suspect
rage.
has been arrested before for allegedly using his car as a weapon.
Oh no.
Standing along Interstate 85 just south of LaGrange. In fact, the highway is just on the other side of those trees there. The Troup County Sheriff's Office tells me that the murder victim, 64-year-old Richard Hawk of Texas, had gotten on the highway here. He was headed south toward the state line, didn't get very far when he apparently got into it with Nitorian Allen of LaGrange. They don't know what the beef was about, but a witness would tell them that the two cars were side by side going down the interstate, just as if the two men were having words. Well, that's when Hawk's car veered off, hit the center barrier. They'd later discover that he'd been shot in the head. When first responders arrived at Hawk's car in the southbound median of I-85, they reported he was bleeding from the face. It was on the way to the hospital that they discovered there was more to it.
And when he was in the ambulance, they were working on him. CPR was in progress at that time. He was unresponsive. And then somebody noticed, I believe one of our deputies noticed an injury to his head area, what was consistent with a gunshot wound.
The investigation would lead to 23-year-old Nitorian Allen of LaGrange. They've charged him with murder. What that disagreement was about, investigators are not sure, but they say a witness got his license number on the highway, and they located him very quickly after the shooting.
A lot of people, they see aggressive driving or something like that, and they don't want to get involved. But we're fortunate that this person got involved.
We've learned from LaGrange police that he was arrested back in May after a parking lot incident at a manufacturing plant. The business says that Allen was a temporary employee who was not wearing his safety glasses, so they walked him out of the building. They say he steered his car toward three managers in the parking lot, and they had to jump out of the way. LaGrange police say they charged Allen with reckless driving and 3 counts of simple assault. Now he's facing murder and possession of a firearm in a crime. As for the murder victim, Richard Hawk of Texas, the Troup County Sheriff's Office tells me that he was here in the LaGrange area on business. I'm Doug Evans, Fox 5 News in Troup County.
Wow, that's wild. These are the moments we say, I'm rooting for the asteroid. I'm rooting for the asteroid. I'm going from crazy to craziness here. Let's go straight to Nancy.
There's no point in saying good morning because it certainly is not one.
Wow. Oh, man. We went from the Dunkin' Donuts guy to that sunshine. Anyway, that might be exactly how Nancy Pelosi feels after this one. Legislation efforts are underway to pass the Pelosi Act. It's aimed to bar members of Congress and their spouses from stock trading while in office and getting filthy rich like she and her husband did. That wouldn't make the former speaker and her husband, Paul, too happy, as you might imagine. They're estimated to have seriously cashed in with their stock deals since she's been in Congress. So much so that there are even social media accounts that try to track their moves. Now, Trump is calling for an investigation into the Pelosi's over insider trading, which means we may soon be able to get a peek inside the Pelosi family earnings sheet. Republican Senator Josh Hawley sided with Democrats to block a review of the anti-stock trading bill. The president's not happy about that, calling him a second-tier senator. Ouch. Hawley's a Democrat. Here's Hawley's response, a Republican. Here's Hawley's response last night on primetime.
This bill will cover not only her, it will cover her husband. And the point is, we need to make it illegal for people to do this kind of thing. 86% of Americans look at stock trading by members of the Congress and they say, we ought to ban that. They can't believe it's not been banned already. Nobody should be up in Congress making a quick buck day trading when they should be doing the people's business. The president wants a stock trading ban. I want a stock trading ban. It's time to get it done.
I can't believe we don't already have one. Anyway, Nancy Pelosi was asked about this, and President Trump accused her of insider trading on CNN. Safe to say she was less than thrilled.
Let me just read what he said. I'm sorry that we had some sort of technical issue. Nancy Pelosi became rich.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
Yeah, but I wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the stop the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the confidence it instills in the American people, don't worry about this.
Kamala Harris wants her word salad back. Ari?
Well, she's got to defend this. I mean, she's been doing it for decades, so of course she's not going to be the person who's going to say this is good reform. It's tricky, though. I'm all for banning members of Congress and their spouses and the president and the vice president and cabinet secretaries from engaging in stock trades.
While they're in office.
While they're in office. The tricky part comes, what happens if you own a college savings account for your kid? A 529.
But that's not what we're talking about here.
Well, it depends on how you define what stock trading means, because there are stocks in mutual funds that could be in a 529 or in a 401k, things you don't tap for decades.
Well, can't there be
legislating here is tricky, but the broad principle is 100% right. Members of Congress should not be able to flip stocks, get inside information, sell equities. If they're going to hold them, make them hold them for 10 years, 15, 20 years, so you can't trade.
Oh my gosh, I think we agree on something. Like I looked across the couch and you were nodding at me. Yeah, there can be carve outs. A 529 is so specific. I know because I have a kid going into college in the fall. It's so specific. You're not going to get rich off a 529. But yeah, if you want to still contribute, maybe there can be a carve out in that. But President Trump is right about this, and so is Josh Hawley of Missouri. I mean, you can't be making a buck while you're in office.
Right, but President Trump is in a little bit of a difficult position on this. He came out so hard. I mean, you read the quote about Josh Hawley against Hawley for helping Democrats advance this bill. I mean, Republicans are not supportive of this bill as it stands right now. Donald,
But you like it, which was my point to begin with.
Exactly. No, of course. I don't know how this already isn't banned. But the headlines this morning are that President Trump criticizes Republican senator because Trump is concerned that presidents and vice presidents aren't exempt from it. Now, this wouldn't take effect till after Trump was out of office, so it would not affect Donald Trump, a point Josh Hawley keeps making over and over again. But it just, the headline doesn't look good. President Trump doesn't like bill because president not exempted.
But it should apply to President Trump and to the vice president and to cabinet secretary.
Of course it should.
And frankly, I'd say White House staff.
Of course,
if you're in a position of power, you should not be in a position to trade on that power and make money.
Totally agree with you, Ari. Absolutely.
And I think that President Trump wanted the review and investigation of Nancy Pelosi, and then Josh Hawley voting in the way that he did prevented that from happening. So that could also be the reason why he's coming out against Josh Hawley. She says, Nancy Pelosi, now that she supports this bill. Of course she does, only after her husband made millions, whether by luck or brilliance in trading or something else, right? So it's easy to say now. The New York Post rightly points out that the onus is on the Pelosi's to make sure that everybody knows that nothing nefarious happens.
Do you think they'll do that?
Wait, why isn't the onus on Trump?
And
Pelosi's not Democratic leader anymore. Why is the onus on Pelosi?
Here's why the onus is on Nancy Pelosi, because from 2007 to 2020, Paul Pelosi raked in as much as $30.4 million from trades in Facebook, Google, Amazon, Apple, and Microsoft, even as rumors flew that Nancy Pelosi was slow walking efforts to regulate these firms. There is an X account and an app dedicated to Paul Pelosi's trades so that people can follow them and make those trades as well.
Mimic them.
So that is probably why the onus would be on.
So I want to be clear on something you said, though, because that was an interesting thing. And, so you stop looking in to what the Pelosi's did with an investigation because Josh Hawley jumps up and says, I'm going to vote with Democrats to get this, to get all of that trading blocked. So it protected her. And that's why President Trump is not too happy about it, because now we'll never really know. And we'll have to depend on the Pelosi's to tell us the truth about whether or not they did anything
of that.
shady.
Do you know how many rich Republicans there are in Congress, too?
They're about to die. I don't know what they're going to do with all that money.
Political lightning rod, but there are a lot of very rich
when they
Republicans
die.
who make a lot of money off of stock trading. I can name a bunch of them. So they should all, none of them should be allowed.
So that's why Josh Hawley is right when he says, I can't believe that this law hasn't already passed.
Correct.
Right. And I think what I see here is that there's an analog to this, what's being proposed for everyone that already works in finances, right? And so the point is not necessarily power or its influence, you could argue, but it's more so it's the information. And so the point is that if there's an analog to this that prevents people who know what's going to happen in the future, they know that on Monday this is going to come out, which will boost stock prices or lower them. So they are prevented from trading. Why then wouldn't there be this analog in place? Because all of these Congress people have that insight. That's the point. Those
tracker apps,
That's the
they
point.
outperform the market every time considerably. And when you couple that with the knowledge that Pelosi and her like are sitting and making decisions about regulation and having direct influence on the course of business in these financial companies or companies in general, that's a huge red flag and an obvious opportunity for there to be complete muddied water.
Yeah.
So I see that there's an absolute way that you can say, while you're an active congressperson, you don't actively trade. If you're a passive investor in funds, of course, right? And they, believe me, the attorneys can draw up the papers where it protects the family's investments, but pauses the active investment for the time when you're serving. And look, if public service is your thing, then I think you would gladly take that sacrifice, knowing that all you have to do is invest in the Pelosi fund and you'll still outperform the market.
Well, there's a bigger issue here, and we live in an era in which people have lost respect for institutions that are vital to American success and mission: the church, the military, the Supreme Court, Congress. One of the ways to help restore that for Congress is to pass this. People should not suspect members are dealing like this.
Yeah, that's right. Good point.
Well, and if the Pelosi's are getting a little, cover by this passing, then let's see a negotiation on that. Then they have to come clean. They do. I mean, that they can't skirt this. I think, based on what you said, they can't just.
I don't trust Pelosi.
Law, make her disclose.
That's another
You did it. Into them, yeah. So
another mess.
We'll learn more for sure.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube?
Hey,
Become a Fox News
we had a
patron
government
today.
within
Click
a government
join to
within a
find out
government, and we weren't part of those other governments. They were taking advantage of us, and that's what happened. And there's no accountability. Now let's go to another crazy nut. You want to go from one nut to another? All right, let's do it. We're going to do it together. We're going from one nut to another.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris announcing she will not run for governor of California in 2026, ending all speculation that she might seek her state's top executive role. She says, quote, "In recent months, I have given serious thought to asking the people of California for the privilege to serve as their governor. I love this state, its people, and its promise. It is my home. But after deep reflection, I've decided that I will not run for governor in this election." Now, this election, two words that should not be overlooked, because the move is already fueling speculation of a potential presidential bid in 2028, particularly a possible showdown between the failed presidential candidate and current California Governor Gavin Newsom, who says he is grateful for her service. Writing this, quote, "Kamala Harris has courageously served our state and country for her entire career. Whether it be as a prosecutor, attorney general, senator, or vice president, she has always kept a simple pledge at the heart of every decision she's made for the people." Ari, this would be a fascinating development because up until now, the two of them who have shared a donor base and shared sort of a political class donor base of the 7 families in California, as they're known, have always done the dance of you're taking this office, I'm running for this. Do you foresee a showdown finally between these frenemies?
Well, first and foremost, I don't think she'll be missed. I do not think there's a Kamala Harris wing of the Democratic Party that this morning woke up and said how disappointed we are. She was the vice president, so institutionally she was looked to succeed Joe Biden, but that's it. So she had the institutional role, but she did not have an ideological role. She did not have a leadership role, a personal role, or a charismatic role. And that's what you need to become a presidential nominee. I think the Democrats are going to have mayhem, which is not a bad thing. It's a primary, and primaries need to be settled by the Democratic voters. They're going to have 15, 20, 25 candidates. They're going to have 2 stages, 2 nights of debates. It's going to be wide open mayhem for the Democrats. I think she'll go nowhere because she doesn't have a wing of the party.
That was going to be my question to you, Marie, is there sort of an ego invested, meaning after you're the vice president, to risk being fleshed out at the primary level? Would that be an embarrassment she can risk having, and therefore is she done with politics, or will we see her and potentially, and I agree with you that likely she would be fleshed out at that primary level?
Look, I think it's hard once you've been so close to walk away for anyone. That's just human nature, right? I don't actually think she's going to run for president. I think she will consider it. I think in her heart she will want to, but we can't rehash the past election. We can't rehash the Biden-Harris administration. My party needs to move on. And I think she's smart and savvy, and she doesn't want
to end her, I think, quite distinguished career with 2 losses, like a loss in a primary. So I actually don't think she's going to run. I think Newsom is, and I think Ari's right. It's going to be a huge primary. I can't wait. I'm ready for it. I think my party needs to flesh out a lot of stuff, and I think you're going to have lots of people running, but I actually don't think she's going to be one of them. And I think this decision showed that. I think this was her saying, I've enjoyed serving. I'm grateful for it. It's time.
Yeah, that's interesting. We didn't know that that was going to happen when we had booked a former member of her campaign on our power panel today last hour, Mike Nellis. And it was interesting to hear him say he thinks it's all about the book that dropped called 107 Days. And he said, you know, you got to sell copies of the book. And so that's probably why you saw that. I don't. And he said, look, she's got to, and I've heard other Democrats say it too, she's got to work on some things, so on and so forth. I don't know that what didn't connect with American voters you can fix. I don't know that you can make someone palatable when they don't have a gear to tell even the women of The View, which is like going to your best friend's birthday party and having her braid your hair because they love Democrats. I don't know how you can go on that show and when asked, so, you know, Joe Biden not doing well in the polling, what would you do differently from Joe? And you can't think of one thing. And then by indoctrination, I don't know, they twisted people's arms, they put her at the top of the ticket, and there wasn't a vote cast. So at the very least, let there be 50 of those candidates for the Democratic ticket, because the voters were robbed last time. They didn't even get to choose the top of the ticket.
That's
they
Joe
got
Biden's
forced
fault.
to have
It's Joe Biden's fault.
Oh, really? I don't know. Gosh,
All right,
it's gonna
that's
be
a
an
whole
hour
other
show.
conversation. Carly, we have that announcement actually, so we can play that. This is Kamala Harris making the announcement about her book, which we knew was coming because we knew CA signed her and the ghostwriter and all the things. So here's her ad. Watch.
Yeah, she came out with a stupid book.
Just over a year ago, I launched my campaign for President of the United States. 107 days, traveling the country, fighting for our future. The shortest presidential campaign in modern history. I've spent a lot of time reflecting on those days, talking with my team,
she
my
wrote a book
family, my
about it.
friends, and pulling my thoughts together. In essence, writing a journal that is this book.
Well, 107 days looks a lot
Oh,
longer than
no.
107 pages. So that was a reflection on her part. We also do know that Kamala Harris loves space. So when you first read this headline that she's dropping out, you would think that she's not running for governor. You think that she'd come back down to reality and realize that her future rests in other places than politics. But I think that she has her eyes solely on 2028, because 2 other words that I want to focus on in her announcements were, for now, my public service will not be in elected office, which means I don't think she's reading the room here. I think she's tripling down and also taking into consideration that oftentimes history is kinder to ex-presidents and ex-administrations. And she might think she could benefit that by not running now and waiting to 2028.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-host
You ain't gonna
Harris
do
Faulkner
good
and
at all.
Kaylee McEnany
I'm
on
just telling you, that's
Outnumbered.
just a lost cause. That just ain't going nowhere. That's like, Kamala, come on, girl. You're trying to be relevant. It's a dead news cycle. It's almost the end of the show. So let's get through a couple of videos I have here, and then we'll be out. So let's check out this one. Let me set it up. Here we go.
Welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. Let's turn our attention out west, as it seems not as many tourists this year want to roll the dice on a trip to Sin City in Las Vegas. The live picture right now there, as you can see it, courtesy of our EarthCam partners, as Las Vegas seeing a drop in visitors, but there might be some potential deals for those looking to go. Let's be joined right now by Fox's
It might be
Kennedy
cheaper
Hayes
to go
on the
now.
ground in Las Vegas with the slowdown. Kennedy, thank you so much for joining us. What more can you tell us?
Hi, Andy. Well, experts say fewer people are coming to Las Vegas, and that largely has to do with money. International travel is also down, especially from Mexico and Canada. But for a city that relies heavily on tourism, that can hit hard. Las Vegas welcomed 400,000 fewer visitors this past June compared to the same time last year. That's an 11% drop, the first double-digit decline since 2021. And it's not just tourists, convention traffic, a major moneymaker here is also down. Those big conferences and expos bring in high-spending visitors, and the cost of visiting adds up fast. Between resort fees and service charges, vacationing here can be more expensive. Even the city's airport is feeling the impact, with passenger traffic falling more than 6% last month. But here is the silver lining. Hotel prices are starting to ease. The average nightly rate on the Strip in June was about $174. That's compared to nearly $187 last year.
From Florida. We're actually from the Keys, so we come from a very touristy place. Today I was like, let's see everything we can do up until we even go to this pool party for free. So we've been trying to do everything we can to have fun, but do it with the smallest amount of money.
It's our vacation. We come from France. In France is not the same price, but the food is really, really expensive.
And hotels are a little bit cheaper too. Experts say with less people booking
Food
up
is still
rooms,
expensive.
hotels might drop even more deals. So if you love the city, now might be a good time to come. Andy.
All right, thank you so much for this, Kennedy. I want to ask you
you're not
because
selling
it
me.
is a hot time of the
The
year.
only one that
Summer
can sell me
already.
going to
July into August.
Las
Do you think the
Vegas, the only
temperature has
person that can
anything
sell me
to do
is
with it?
a friend of mine.
It just might.
Good
It's
friend
been
of
about
mine.
100 degrees every single day this
Let me see if
week.
I had a
Locals,
video.
visitors, tourists I've talked to said they're
does.
definitely hitting those pool parties. I am jealous being out here and not being able to cool off.
All right, Kennedy, thank you so much. I appreciate your time here on Live Now from Fox. All right, thank you so much. All right, great conversation there. As always, seeing a slowdown, a dip in traffic there along the Strip and other portions of Sin City. A live picture right now there at Allegiant Stadium where the Las Vegas Raiders play. And of course, also tonight, the kickoff of the NFL season, albeit the preseason, the Hall of Fame game between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Detroit Lions from Canton, Ohio. I'm Andy Mack. We're back after.
All right. Well, anyhow, we got 2 stories left. So let's get through these 2 and call it a night because I'm tired. My body hurts. Like I had physical therapy today. I'm really tired. So let's go to the next story.
Significant turbulence overnight, forcing a Delta flight to make an emergency landing in Minneapolis, and more than 24 people sent to the hospital.
What?
The plane was bound from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam.
Amsterdam?
No longer.
No.
Sean Duffy's the transportation
That's where
secretary,
my
acting
friend
NASA
lives.
administrator,
Moontang.
joins me live now from the Kennedy Space Center,
Moontang,
where
a
there's a
flight
major
to
mission
Amsterdam
set for 2.5
has
hours
severe
from now
turbulence.
for NASA. Mr. Secretary, thank you for your time. Got a flurry of things to get to. Let me talk about NASA in a moment and what you're doing down there. What have you learned about Minneapolis last night? What caused that sudden turbulence?
Yeah, so good morning, Bill. Again, I'm not sure if this was knowable with regard to the turbulence or if this was weather that popped up, but anyone who flies knows that we delay flights, cancel flights when weather happens. That didn't happen here, and so we are doing a full-scale review right now to see what went wrong, because, again, this kind of turbulence is incredibly dangerous, and we don't want the flying public to go through it. So, again, what we find out, we are going to remedy. We'll get to the bottom of
that's
it.
what the
I'll
smart
come back
system
and
tracked.
share those results in that review with you.
That's what the ratio.
It seems like it came out of nowhere, really caught the pilots off guard. Delta's got a statement out. It says, we're grateful for the support of all emergency responders involved. Safety is our #1 value at Delta, and our Delta Care team is working directly with customers to support their immediate needs. Meanwhile, you've got this hearing for 3 days.
Bill,
Yes,
Bill,
sir, go ahead.
can I make a quick point on that? You know, listen, I always wear my seatbelt. I don't want to be just Mr. Safety guy, but I leave my seatbelt on all the time unless I go to the bathroom. This is a great example. Keep your seatbelt on when you're on a flight.
Hell
Accidents
yeah, I
can
always leave
happen.
my
Things
seatbelt
can
on.
happen, and seatbelts truly do make flying safer. So wear your seatbelt unless you go into the bathroom and the seatbelt sign is off.
Yeah, it's great advice. I want to ask about the hearings on the Hill.
Yeah, there's no
we can
seatbelt
put
in the
up a
bathroom.
timeline of these recent near misses.
It'd be
You've
cool as
expressed
shit.
concern about it. What do we need to know based on what you've learned so far?
Well, what you need to know is the last administration didn't pay attention to some very risky signs that were taking place in the DC airspace. They didn't care about safety. They cared about DEI. They cared about pushing a green agenda. That was the mission of DOT, but the true mission really is safety. And so we've looked at DCA. We restricted helicopter traffic on day one in DCA, so you don't have airplane helicopter cross traffic. If the president flies, we shut down traffic. You don't have it at any point in DCA. We've gone to the next step, though, to look at other airspaces. Again, you reported some of these stories where we've had some issues with military aircraft and commercial aircraft, and we need to deflect that and get procedures in place. But it's an issue that we're focusing on because we care about it. We're not ignoring it. We're not going to pass it off to the next administration like Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden did to us. We're working on fixing it.
Okay, let me talk about the reason why you're in Florida. Our space program is coming into a new, exciting, very challenging time for the next several years. And you have a mandate where you want to go back to the moon and then at some point build a permanent moon base that will enable humankind to go to Mars. And a lot of that is the reason why you're there today. What do the American people need to understand about what NASA's up against right now, especially with the possibility of more cuts? Go ahead for that.
Yeah, so first off, over the zero behind my head, that is the mission today. It's Crew 11, flying the Dragon up to the International Space Station, the 127th mission to the space station. We've talked about this for decades. But every mission we learn that's going to help us get to the moon. And again, this is really competitive. So under Donald Trump's leadership, we are going to win the second space race against China. And so the first part of next year, Bill, we're going to fly our first mission, Artemis 2. Artemis is our moon mission. We're going to go around the moon, come back. That's going to be in America's 250th birthday. A year after that, we're going back to the moon. We're going to land. We're going to stay for 6 days. 3 days before that was the longest. And then the missions after, we're going to start building our base camp. What we learn on the moon, Bill, really exciting, is going to take us to Mars. Now, to be clear, on the moon, there's really critical real estate in the South Pole that whoever gets there first gets to stake a claim to it. We have great global partners in Artemis. We want to get there first. There's ice, which means water. There's the ability to get sunlight almost every hour of their day. So it's really important. And again, we are harnessing all of our industries and corporations to help us do it. But here's what happens on Earth, Bill. Again, sometimes people go, do we make things in America again? We make the best, coolest, fastest, strongest rockets in America. And it's scientists, it's engineers, it's welders, it's machinists that are cranking out the most sophisticated material that gets us into space. But all that happens on Earth, and whether it's SpaceX, Blue Origin, Boeing, we got other startups all participating in our mission. By the way, as Americans, we're explorers. We're going to continue to explore the technology that comes from space, but also the national security component of being in space and not let it be militarized. Because if someone militarizes space and we're not there to prevent it, that is really bad for us on Earth. So we're gonna accomplish this mission in this race under Donald Trump.
That is a great and enthusiastic response there. We're going to be watching 2 hours and now 29 minutes from now.
Yeah, I know.
I saw a quote. I saw a quote,
You know what we should work on together?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, you know what? You should be on one of these missions. We should get you to the space station. I think Bill Hemmer doing newsroom from space would be fantastic.
I do that. Let me run that up.
You have to do some training.
Yeah.
What do you?
Yeah, let me run that upstairs.
Let's work on that together.
And I'll get back with you. I'm in. Okay, just for the record,
Aisha.
I'm in.
Physically.
All right. So Aisha, you're my witness here.
All right.
Okay.
Why didn't I get an invite?
We'll get to that during the commercial. Listen, thank you for your time. And we'll be watching today a little bit after 12 noon Eastern time. And good luck to all the men and women down there at the Space Center.
That's wild.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily
That is
Campagno.
wild.
Catch me and my co-hosts
It's a
Harris
wild
Walker
ride.
and Kaylee McIntyre.
and then to be able to go up to space. Yeah, it's Katy Perry did it. Katy Perry did it. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, girl power. Girl, you're sad. Let's watch the last show for the night, and then I'm wrapping it up. Gotta end the show with the bang. The bang is Tyson De La Cruz. Let's go ahead and watch this episode.
That's the most horrible thing you can do, the power and control of it, the stealing the innocence of a child, and the horrible victimizations they went through with these monsters.
America, we just got some details on what might be one of the most horrific trafficking cases in recent memory. 7 people have been arrested in Alabama for operating a child X trafficking ring out of an underground bunker. We're talking about children as young as 3 years old being drugged and abused by paying customers who generated up to $1,000 per night for these monsters. But here's the part that's going to make you sick. Some of the suspects are the children's own parents.
I've been in law enforcement for 33 years, and this is absolutely the most horrible thing I've ever seen when it comes to victimization of children.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. I'm going to be straight with you here. This story is going to test your faith on humanity, but these are the monsters that we need to know about. And frankly, these folks need to be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Wood chipper anybody? Let me break down what authorities discovered in Bibb County, Alabama. This wasn't some random crime. This was an organized criminal operation that had been running for at least 2 years.
Well, a total of 7 people are now in custody in connection to a child trafficking case involving an underground bunker in Bibb County.
10 children so far have been identified. The youngest just 3 years old, the oldest 15. Most of them are under the age of 10, and investigators fear there are more victims and suspects still unaccounted for.
The sheriff released photos from inside the bunker, and I'm telling you, it looks something straight out of a horror movie. What was supposed to be a storm shelter became a den of horrors for innocent children.
Inside the storm shelter, there were chairs and beds and things of that nature, and the children were drugged by Mr. Trejos and tied to the bed and to the chair and to a pole. And then people would come and pay money to have sex with these children.
This operation was making some serious money. We're talking about up to $1,000 a night from a customer who paid to abuse children. This wasn't just abuse. This was criminal trafficking on American soil.
Wade tells us the suspect's main source of income was sex trafficking, and the children were used to make up to $1,000 in one night.
Now let's talk about these 7 pieces of human garbage who are sitting in jail right now. The ringleader appears to be Andres Trejo Velasquez, who was charged with multiple counts of human trafficking. The 6 other suspects, Chase McElroy, Dalton Terrell, Timothy St. John, Rebecca Brewer, Ricky Terrell, and Sarah Terrell, are now facing charges, including rape, sodomy, torture, human trafficking, kidnapping, and even bestiality. Speaking of protecting children, let me tell y'all about something every parent needs to understand. While we're exposing these monsters who prey on children in the real world, there are just as many predators hunting kids online. Your children's internet activity, their location data, and even their personal information. It's all being tracked and potentially accessed by people you don't want anywhere near your family. That is exactly why I use CyberGhost VPN to protect my digital privacy. And here's why every parent watching this needs to do the same. Look, these predators use the internet to find and target children. They track kids online, monitor their social media, and use their personal data to build profiles for potentially grooming. When your child goes online without description down below, protect your kids online. Now back to these monsters and the charges that they're facing.
Timothy St. John was taken into custody.
I don't be on the line like that.
15 charges, including
I just do my show.
sodomy,
I watch the news. That's
trafficking, kidnapping,
I don't
bestiality,
surf
and
the net.
cruelty to animals.
Here's what's going to make you absolutely sick. Many of these victims were children of the accused. We're talking about parents who were selling their own children to strangers for money.
Sometimes they
I surf the net on my phone, but not on
And
my
some of the people
computer.
who were supposed to protect them were
My
the
computer's
ones
just for the
handing them
show.
over.
Some of these people are acquaintances. Some of them are family.
And it gets even worse. Law enforcement believes this operation was connected to organized
train
crime.
of truth is
Specifically,
here.
they think Andres Trejo Velasquez was tied to a gang called Saneros that profits
Wow,
off
the
of
train
child
of truth is here.
exploitation.
Law enforcement believed this wasn't just a local crime. It was part of an organized human trafficking network, possibly linked
Disgusting.
to a violent gang. One suspect, Andres Trejo Valquez, is believed to have connections to a gang called Serenos.
And get this, his legal status in the United States is now under investigation. So we potentially have an illegal alien running a child X trafficking operation in American soil.
His legal status in the U.S. is now under investigation.
Wherever this guy come from, we don't know what he left in his.
Where have we heard this story before? The sheriff put it perfectly when he said this. How many other children are being victimized by criminal networks that our former government failed to stop? And here's what might make you even more angrier. A former teacher says he raised red flags about these children nearly a year before the case surfaced, and nothing was done.
A former teacher now says she raised red flags about one of those children nearly a year before the case surfaced.
I just feel like it should have been looked into more.
This teacher reported the child's conditions multiple times to school administrators, multiple times. And what happened? Nothing. The system failed these children completely.
She was in my class and she was just very delayed developmentally. And, you know, there could be billions of reasons, but now with all this coming out, it's kind of like that's probably why.
The teacher says school staff reported the child's condition more than once to school administrators.
It was multiple times. No, it never really got better.
Law enforcement says this case wasn't even referred to them by DHR until February 2025. The good news is that under Alabama law, anyone convicted of crimes against children 6 years or younger face mandatory life prison sentences without the possibility of parole. These monsters will never see the light again if they're convicted. The community is rightfully outraged. One resident said, "We're all thinking, I wish they would let them out and let Bibb County citizens take care of them."
I would probably have to have therapy myself, or I might be wearing orange in Bibb County jail. I wish they would let them out and let Bibb County citizens take care of them.
And here's something that gives me a little bit of satisfaction. These suspects are going to have a real tough time in prison. I know for a fact that inmates don't take kindly to people who hurt children.
No child deserves this. That's the most horrible thing you can do. The power and control of it, the stealing the innocence of a child, and the horrible victimizations they went through with these monsters.
America, this case out of Alabama represents everything wrong with our former failed system. We have criminal networks possibly involving illegal aliens operating child trafficking rings on American soil. We have teachers and school officers who see the warning signs, but the bureaucrats did nothing. And we have parents who are selling their own children to strangers for money. The sheriff said it best: if there is a limit to God's forgiveness, we have reached it. These 7 suspects represent the absolute worst of humanity, and they deserve everything that's coming to them. But here's what we need to remember. This operation was discovered and shut down. These children are now safe, and these monsters are going to spend the rest of their lives in prison, where they'll get a taste of what real justice looks like from their fellow inmates. The investigation is ongoing, and authorities expect more arrests and more victims to be identified. I'll keep following this story to make sure that these predators face the full consequences of their action. Real quick, before you leave, that CyberGhost VPN deal is about protecting your children online. While we're catching these monsters in Alabama, there are predators hunting kids online every single day. 38 million users trust CyberGhost.
Okay,
it's really tough to cover, but these are stories that we need to tell. Evil exists, but so does justice. And in Alabama, justice is about to be served. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Freezing up a little bit. Yeah, Tyson's pretty cool. My internet's connecting a little crazy. You know, I like to end the show by checking out the weather, and not only just weather, but checking out the tropics, and then we'll see what's going on around my neck of the woods. You can see it from the radar. Let me go ahead and slap this over here. Put this over here. Let's take a look at the tropics. From what I'm seeing, I'm still paying attention to this right here. It's pretty good outflow. It has like a bubble to it. And it just doesn't have the storms. It has storms in the middle, but they're not like big, like explosive storms. That should be coming soon. But this is a real big sucker right here. And then you got something coming off of Africa. We'll check that out in a moment. You can see up here in the northeast, this is where I'm at right now. We're going to get heavy rain tonight. And yeah, we'll see what happens. A lot of people are getting a lot of heavy rain tonight. It's one of those summer storms, that's for sure. Let's check out that east. Let's check out the Africa side. It's over here. Look at this big, giant system coming off of Africa. Holy smokes. That's a big monster. Like, super big monster. That's huge. And all this moisture is heading towards the Atlantic. This is going to be very interesting. This against dry air. Oh man, we'll see what happens. This is going to be October. You know, it's the last day of July. So see you later, July. It was a nice time. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And I'll stay tabs in the weather department there. Right now, it's quiet, so I'm gonna sleep. I'm tired. I hope you guys get some rest too. But have a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And yes, I'll do this again tomorrow. And hopefully we can sleep good. I hope it rains hard so I could just sleep like a baby tonight, because sleeping with the sound of the rain sounds so relaxing. And inside my apartment, you could hear like the water funneling down from the roof, and it comes down through my apartment, and you can hear the sound. It sounds like a little stream of water like flowing down. And you can hear it. It's so loud too, but it sounds so nice. It's very relaxing. All right, guys, have a good night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace for now.